Memories of the Northeast Indies.
Northeast Indies. I didn't really do that many Northeast Indies at first. Did a couple ECW stuff where I know we did one after Memphis ECW, and I remember we wrestled Ian and Axel there. We had a great match, and I overheard Paulie afterwards saying, because him and Paulie and Larry Sharpe for some reason had some kind of heat. They didn't get along, or for whatever reason. And he knew we were technically Larry's boys.
Yeah.
So he goes, yeah, wait till you see what I do with these two assholes. So Glenn and I, basically after that, we never went back. The only really other indie I can really recall was a couple of times when Glenn and I first started tagging, we were doing the Spiders. I remember doing a couple of things with Chris Evans.
Oh, yeah.
And did a couple matches against him actually in Glenn's gimmick.
Huh.
And it was classic because our body types were so much alike before he blew up like a fucking blimp. They were so alike that people, his mom, actually, when we wrestled the Spiders, his mom would come up and talk to me thinking I was him.
Oh, man.
But because we didn't really hang around. It was the way my career went. I started that June of '93. By April of '94, we were gone.
Okay.
We were on the road constantly we started in Memphis, then went home for like a month. Then we were in Arkansas for over a year. Straight from Arkansas, we went to Knoxville from Smoky Mountain. Then we were home for like 2 months, and we did more Maryland stuff. And then from there, we were gone.
Wow. So, what are your memories of Larry Sharpe?
Larry was a great guy. I can never say anything bad about him. It's Larry's school, so that's where I got my start in Larry's ring. Glenn did all the training. I remember one guy down there training walked up to Larry and goes, "Larry, Glenn's showing us everything. You never get in the ring. You don't show us anything." So he goes, "All right, I'm going to show you something." Takes him in the corner, lifts his shirt up, and just chopped the living shit out of him.
Wow.
Blood was just gushing down his chest. And he goes, "There, you learn how to take a chop, kid." And he got out of the ring and picked up a cigar and sat down and watched. So I knew never to ask Larry or say, "How come you never show me anything?" But you know what? It's Larry's school. Larry, that's where I got my start. So, as far as I'm concerned, Larry was good to me.
Yeah. What were your initial impressions of Glenn going back to your partner once you started teaming with him and riding?
Initially?
Yeah.
Glenn was like, I don't want to say godlike, but everyone at the school at the time, Glenn was the man at the Monster Factory. He was Larry's trainer. He was Larry's champ. He taught you well. He taught you how to do things properly. He would bust your balls if you were dragging or if you were doing it wrong. So everybody wanted to be Glenn. When they went to WWF to do the enhancement matches, do the squash matches, Glenn ran the show. Glenn handled all of us, and he handled with the office and getting us paid. And everyone kind of wanted to be Glenn. So when I went there, it was like, whoa, this is awesome. And then when he came up to me and said he wanted to tag with me, it was like, whoa. It was like kind of like everyone, almost kind of a little jealousy thing ran around the guys I was all training with when we were there, because they were like, "Oh, well, why do you pick you?" and blah blah. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not going to say no at this point,
Were there any other notable guys in your class when you were training at the Monster Factory of going on to big things?
Only notable ones, probably D'Lo.
Okay.
D'Lo was. It's kind of funny. D'Lo and his little group of guys used to actually, on Sunday afternoons, would rent the ring out from Larry. They would set up a camera. They would have their own ring entrances. They would go in there and just beat the shit out of each other. And Glenn and I used to sit there we used to sit there and laugh at them.
Yeah.
And then D'Lo somehow ended up going to Smoky Mountain and ended up doing his thing. But he's probably about the only one. Him and, Balls.
Oh, okay.
Balls Mahoney. John was down there doing a Buddha Sing.
Yes.
When I was down there. So yeah, those would be the two.
Okay. What are your memories of when you used to do the spider gimmick?
Spider gimmick was fun. It was awesome. It was good for me because, like I said, I used to laugh the whole time. So the mask used to cover it. The other good thing about the spider was the silly string. We'd come out shooting the silly string, and the promoters used to get so pissed because we'd buy 4 or 5 cases of it, and they'd all sell out, and they had to clean up the thing. So they wanted to start charging us money to sell the silly string. So Glenn and I, after shows, we'd be like, "Well, we're not paying you." We would stay after the shows and sweep up the entire arena of the silly string because there'd be so much. We were making almost $1,000 just off the silly string, so we didn't mind staying and clean it up. The spider thing was great. I mean, that was my start. That's the first tattoo I ever got. Like that was the beginning, the start of everything.
Did you go to FMW at one point?
Over in Japan?
Yeah.
No.
I guess it was your partner, because I remember because I was there once and met one of you guys.
Yeah, he went to Japan. He's been to Japan twice. I've never been to Japan. That's the one place I still want to go to this day to wrestle. I've never gone over there. But I think when he went to FMW is when he blew both elbows out.
Oh, okay.
He blew both elbows out when he did a splash off the top rope and dislocated.
I think I was there that night,
elbows.
actually. I kind of remember something like that.
Yeah, he blew both elbows out.
Yeah, and I remember him complaining about somebody doing 5 pile drivers in a row.
Yeah, that was him. Yeah, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. The whole idea of that was supposedly for him to go over and create some angle for us both to go back. But after he blew his elbows, it squashed it, and it never happened.
Okay. So how did you guys wind up in Smoky Mountain?
Who was there that we knew? I think that's when Balls was there, and we got in contact with him, and he got us in contact with Cornette. And like I said, we were in Arkansas with Bert, making, like I said, $20 a week. And Cornette was like, yeah, come out, and blah, blah, blah. And we got talking to Cornette, and just kind of how it happened. And then when we got there, Cornette said, he goes, I don't really like the Spiders. And we were like, that's kind of our thing. That's what we want to do. Because I had this other idea. And we were like, hey, we'll do whatever you want to do. You're guaranteeing us $75 a night. We're there. And we went. Cornette came up. That's where the Headbanger gimmick was born.
Wow.
It was down in Smoky.
Did you know, I don't know if he had passed away yet, Dennis Carluzza on the Indies?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Dennis was doing the Indies when I first started.
Okay. Do you have any Dennis stories?
Not really. I was too young.
Oh, okay.
And I think I legit, if it wasn't a Larry show run with Dennis, I think I did 2 Dennis shows. And I think those were the 2 I wrestled as the Spider for Glen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So Cornette, did you like Cornette?
Love Cornette.
Yeah.
Cornette's a man.
Yeah.
Cornette, like I said, came up with the gimmick. His idea was, he said, I went to this heavy metal grunge concert. He goes, I went to the Danzig concert. And he goes, these guys they had like Northeast attitudes, kind of like you guys have. You're from the Northeast. They're spitting on each other. They're jumping all around. They're doing this. They're just crazy shit. They have makeup on. He goes, that's what I want you guys to do. So we had no clue. So we show up with this black face paint in the locker room. And we're like, Jimmy, what do you want us to do with this? He goes, I don't know. And he picks it up and just smeared it all over our face. And he goes, he hands us 2 T-shirts. He hands me a Slayer T-shirt. He hands Glenn a Metallica T-shirt. He goes, go out there in shorts and boots, whatever you want to wear. He goes, I don't care. Just go out there. He goes, I want you spitting on people. I can remember first match TV going out there and just walking over to everyone in the front row and just spitting on every single one. By the end of the match, I had no spit left. My mouth was so dry.
Wow.
But Cornette was awesome. He was awesome. And he said to us, he goes, this gimmick can be whatever you want it to be. And then Glenn and I kind of went to thrift stores and started buying different stuff. And that's when we were like, I was like, skirts. I'm like, we should wear skirts. We're down here in Knoxville. These people are going to get pissed if we come out in skirts. And that's kind of how the skirts were born. We just bought these cheesy, dumb skirts and went out and just wore them. And it was different. It got people talking.
I'm just trying to picture Cornette at a Danzig concert.
I know.
How instrumental was he with your promos? Did he help you guys out with your promos?
Yeah, he helped. That's what was the greatest thing about the Headbangers is that no matter what we did or what we said, it made sense because we didn't make sense. Yeah. The first interview we ever did, he goes, all right, you guys are the Headbangers. You're Mosh and Thrasher, the Headbangers. And we're like, okay. And he goes, I want you to do, because the way it was supposed to start, we were supposed to do a month worth of just TVs before we went on the road. Mm-hmm. But we showed up at the first TVs, and that's when, fuck, what's his name? New Jack and
Mustafa?
Yeah. Trying to figure their tag.
The Gangsters?
The Gangsters. They were there. They saw us there, and they knew they were done. They walked up to Jimmy, and they said, we quit, and they walked out.
Huh.
So it was great for us because Jimmy was like, look, I need another tag. You guys can start right away. But the interviews were great because he would just say, just go there. We'd take the lockers and bang our heads in the locker and go, I'm Mosh, and he's Thrasher. What's your name? And they made absolutely positively no sense. Then we did an interview with Les Thatcher, and it was great because, like I said, I'd have nothing to say, and I would just stand there and start picking Les's nose, stick my finger in his ears, pull his glasses off and put them on. It was just goofy.
Yeah.
And for some reason, people got it.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.